that question roots from how people are feeling in the state, in this country. I think also, you know, there's a lot of talk about people are starting to recover and people are starting to feel better about the economy coming off of 2008 and the great work that the president has done. We know that in Nevada, it's not feeling that great yet. And we've heard a lot of really positive feedback in Reno, but in southern Nevada, and I think in some of these rural pockets, that's not the case. She gave an economic speech last week that we need to do a better job at ensuring that we're sharing with people, where she did talk about reining in Wall Street and ensuring that they're being held accountable. She also has been talking about Dodd-Frank and Glass-Steagall today. So we're going to continue to talk about that tomorrow. She's giving a speech on corporations and how to reel them in and hold them accountable and ensuring that, you know, if they're making money, nobody doesn't want them to make money. We will just want to make sure that we are putting people to work and that we're increasing wages and that we're ensuring that if everyone's doing what they're supposed to, that they get what they're entitled to and what they've been paying for. The other thing that she really talked about in the economic speech is increasing wages, pay equity, also looking out for working families and ensuring that, you know, we're in a day, I think, in our country where we are having a lot of innovation, right? What people refer to as the gig economy. And Uber is really exciting. I know that was very contentious in the legislature, as well as a few other things. But we've got to make sure that even with those great companies, that there are protections for our labor community. So you're going to hear a lot more of that in the coming weeks from her as well. Yes, ma'am.
I'm concerned that there's a lot of talk from Hillary about all the topics that are important to us, but her record says something different. How can I, before I start backing her and going out, I don't trust her is the bottom line. So what can you tell me that is going to make me believe that she's not just telling me that I am for the minimum wage, I'm for this, and I'm for that, that she is actually going to put the kibosh on GMO, she's going to put the kibosh on the Keystone Pipeline, she's going to start screwing with Wall Street like somebody should have done a long time ago. How do I know she's really going to do that?
I think there are a few things. You know, one is the root of our campaign, I think, has been really focused on one-on-one conversations. And it's not about giving sweeping speeches. Like, anybody can run a poll. Anybody can tell you what people want to hear. Mm-hmm. Anybody can get on a stage and say,
so how is she different?
Give me a sec.
Okay.
Anyone can say, I hate Wall Street. Wall Street's the worst. When I'm in New York, I even drive around it. Right? Anybody can say that. But what she has been doing is having one-on-one conversations with everyday Americans about the issues that are important to them and how issues like Wall Street's reckless behavior has affected them. If you give me your email, I will send you this speech that she talked about where she rolled out the most progressive economic policy that multiple outlets have described. That's one example of, you know, how she clearly outlines. It's not just rhetoric of saying, and we're going to take down big banks, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Do y'all remember what the last few years have been like with the gridlock in Congress? Mm-hmm. Here we have a candidate in Hillary Clinton who's not just saying we're going to do this, but is saying how we are going to do this, why we're going to do this, when we will go further on this, and what that means for working families, what that means for the middle class. That's one example. I think another thing is that her record does show she has been a champion for us. How many of you remember how long we've been fighting for the Affordable Care Act? Or health reform?
Yeah, who got nailed for it?
And just, you know, to point out that,
Yeah.
you know, I have a funny story that I share. I worked on the Affordable Care Act probably 22 months in 2011, 2012. And I remember on the day that the Senate finally passed it, and Senator Reid did this amazing, like, weird maneuver to pass it. And I remember I sat down with our volunteers, and I was like, oh, I said, oh, it's taking forever. And they're like, yeah, it really has. I was like, I can't believe it took 18 months. And they were like, cue, eye roll, you kidding. It's been 20 years we've been trying to do it. She tried to do it as First Lady before First Ladies were that involved.
Right.
And she is a fighter. And what happened? Yeah, it did fail in the 90s, it did. But did she stop there? Did she say, you know what, I'm going home? Or did she secure access for insurance for children in our country? right? And that was her being a fighter for us. When she was Senator of New York, and I know everyone here remembers 9/11. Who fought to ensure that rapid responders were getting the care that they needed?
Exactly.
That's another example. These are multiple examples. And when Hillary came out of law school, you know, before the Clintons were the Clintons, she could have gone to go work at Arnold and Porter in D.C. She could have gone to all of these different law firms. Where did she go? She went to the Children's Defense Fund.
Yep.
Okay? I wanted to work at the Children's Defense Fund 6 years ago, and the pay was so low. In the 2000s, I was like, I can't do this. Okay? So just imagine what it was like then. Does she care about progressive politics? When the governor was running, you know where she did? She went to the Rio Grande Valley. If any of you have been to the Rio Grande Valley where I grew up, do you think people volunteer to go there? I'm telling you they don't. Okay? She went there to register voters. Hillary, people can say a lot of things about her, but one thing they don't say is she's not a fighter. She is a fighter, and she is a fighter for the middle class, and she is a fighter for our families. If you have any questions about that, I encourage you to watch any of the roundtables that she's had and the conversations she's had with the Nevadans. You know what? Also, before she ran for president, you know what she did as senator? She voted against Yucca Mountain, even before it was a presidential topic. You want to know what else she did before she ran for president? She went to Fallon with Senator Reid to learn about the families that were being affected by leukemia.
The leukemia cluster.
So these are issues that Nevadans don't forget, and I will tell you, every inch of the state
And they didn't like her there one bit either.
Native communities said, you know what, I remember when she came to our gym, and I remember she sat down with us, and she really listened to us, and she heard us, and then she came back to us. You know what other kind of person Hillary is? At the VFW 9211, where we had the Veterans Roundtable, she walked out with the commander, and the commander said, you know, we've had these challenges, engaging members, we're trying social media, we're seeing where that goes, we're trying to build our Facebook page, and Hillary said, well, you know what, why don't we help you out? Why don't, you know, we like your page, maybe that'll help promote it, etc. Before she left, she said, Emmy, we gotta like that page. 2 weeks later, you wanna know what I got in my inbox? Hey, Emmy, just saw Hillary, she wanted to make sure we like that page. We've got to hold our commitments, we've got to follow through, and Hillary Clinton is going to be that candidate.
I would like people to start asking people who don't trust Hillary, why? Why don't you trust Hillary? You tell me why you don't trust her. Because I want to know if you know the facts, or if you're just listening to what people are saying that don't want you to trust her and don't want you to like her. Because if you've read and you've followed along with what that woman has done over her lifetime, you go, whoa, how come I didn't ever know about that? Because Wolf Blitzer is always saying, what if, breaking news, what if, could be, what if, could be that this might be the what if that brings her, well, it might not bring her completely down, but will make her polls go down. What if? Hold tight for breaking news on what if. And that's all there is about Hillary.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's really important to, I'm sorry, bringing together what was spoken earlier about, I think as Cindy said it, is that in order to get these things done, it isn't just Hillary, it's got to be the senators and congresspeople and state legislators. So we have to try to make sure we elect Democrats across the board, not just in our Congress.
I agree, and one of the things the reason we were running a few minutes late today is we were meeting with some city council members. And we are reaching out, again, to anyone that will meet with us to really get this feedback, whether they're county commissioners, city council, state legislatures. And one thing that I didn't mention, and this wasn't a public meeting, but last June when Hillary was here, first she had an event in Las Vegas. Before that event, she had her first roundtable with legislators, anywhere, with our Nevadan legislators, where she sat down with them to talk about the issues in the legislature. The big challenges they had, to obviously thank them for all of their work. You know, I think that although it was a really challenging session, I think it ended up a lot better than we thought it could be, but also talk about those issues, but also talk about how we can work together. And talk about how we could really work to earn their support. You know, it wasn't are you with me or are you not?
Yeah.
It was how can we really work on this together? What are the issues that are important to you? I'm here for 45 minutes, for an hour. No cameras, no anything. Let's just have a real honest conversation. And quite honestly, I think there were legislators before who were like, it's early, I don't really know if I really, who were We've never had a meeting like this. Yes, ma'am.